By the way, we are not built to be weak. It's the society who has made us weak.
What are the principles that we are teaching
Hmm.
children? What are we
The
normalizing?
one thing which made me decide, which was literally, Rania, my biggest decision
Doing it for
factor
a
in
reason, not because we want to air our dirty laundry. Will someone change their life knowing that what they're dealing with is unacceptable? Welcome back to the Healing Train. What a journey it's been. Last season was full of truth, tears, breakthroughs, and deep connection. Thank you for showing up, for listening, and for being brave enough to heal with me. This season, we're going even deeper. Expect raw, honest conversations with guests from around the world, survivors, experts, healers, each bringing powerful stories and wisdom to remind you you're not alone and your healing matters. If you're carrying pain, confusion, or questions that feel too heavy to hold on your own, this space is for you. Take a breath, come as you are, and know this: healing isn't always pretty, but it's always worth it. And together, we'll keep moving, one stop at a time. So hop back on and let's ride. I'm very excited to share with you the guest for today's episode on the Healing Train, Kusha Kalra. Kusha is a confidence coach and brand expert for the bespoke designs. She is a single mom living in India and offering services across the globe. She has worked as a trainer with a specialization in management development, leadership skills, and women empowerment in the corporate industry for over 12 years. She has worked with over 15,000 people by helping them make quantum success in their life and career, using small actionable steps and by building them up to be successful individuals. A woman of many shades and talents, she uses her coaching tools and branding expertise to help women unleash their story, gain the confidence to focus on what they want to do, and upscale their business through visual branding. As a passionate visionary, she helps healers, visionaries, and heart centered female coaches make quantum success in business and a legacy for the future by building a standout brand online that shines like a rare diamond. Kusha, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Kusha, I am so glad that you accepted the invitation to be a guest on the podcast today. The topic that we are about to speak about is very important and is dear to my heart and is dear to yours because we both could relate because we've been through similar circumstances. Now, every story is different, has its unique circumstances, but there is sometimes an underlying common denominator where we can connect. Okay.
Mhm.
I'd like to start our episode with a quotation that you will find very relevant to the subject matter. The quotation says, "It's not just the narcissist that hurts you, it's the people who took their side. It's the people who look the other way. It's the people who tell you to move on or get over it. It's therapists untrained in personality disorders. It's lack of healing help. It's the victim blaming. It's everyone who doesn't understand narcissistic abuse." That hits, doesn't it?
Wow. Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like spot on, every
Yeah.
single word of it.
It doesn't matter if we were in a toxic relationship where there was abuse, narcissistic behaviors, or just someone who wasn't supporting us, being the partner that we thought that they would be. In all of the cases, we end up as women coming to a point where we need better. We deserve better. And we want to leave, but we second guess ourselves and we go through struggles and we have our families and our friends who can influence our decision by
Mhm.
telling us, no, you should just stick it out, work it out, because they don't understand what we're going through.
Right.
I'd like for you to share with us, whatever you may share, the struggles that you've been through in your relationship, regardless of what kind of behavior this person was. Because we're not here to point fingers and name call or
Mm.
anything like that. That's not what this is about. This is about us raising awareness about
Mhm.
certain behaviors that are unacceptable. And when a woman decides to leave, she has every right to leave.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I feel that this quotation is very powerful, and it does remind me of it. Literally just takes me into flashback, and it makes me think about that actual moment where I had people shaming me, blaming me, wanting me to get back into the relationship, and not even trying to understand my point of view, not even ready to support, and even best of friends, were turning away. So that is something which I literally went back into. In our culture, we have this thing called arranged marriages, which is exactly how I entered into a relationship. I think it wasn't something which I wasn't in favor of, but like I said, that even when the pre-wedding ceremonies were happening, I could see a lot of things were, being done, a lot of rituals being done, which were more in the favor of the man's side of family. And somehow I've not been raised that way. I'm somebody who my father has raised me as be fair, do the right thing, take chances, and all are equal, and you have your own voice, and so on and so forth. So when all this was also happening, I kind of was feeling a little, like, why like this? I used to keep questioning. But then again, you're in that ceremony, you also have butterflies in your stomach, and you're just kind of in that excitement, and you tend to flow. And that's exactly how my journey started when I entered that relationship. It was all that, happily ever after kind of a setup and moment, and everybody's happy, and I'm elated in the best of my wedding dress, and you know how it is. It's like that girl's dream, and I think that's exactly what we are raised with, that you're going to eventually grow up and have a happily ever after. So another thing which society puts in your head, really. So
Yep.
and that's exactly how I was also made to understand and kind of even dream of, for that matter.
Mhm.
And then, when you get married, you enter that relationship, that bubble just bursts, and you come out in reality.
Yeah.
And you start seeing how things are, and you start understanding that this isn't what I was told about, because I was told a happily ever after where everybody, where both the male and female partner were equal, and, and so many other things in which we are going to be supporting each other, sharing with each other, talking about it, communicating. Actually, the first couple of years, it was okay. Then I think slowly, gradually, there were instances and there were events which were happening in which I didn't see, my partner was standing up and supporting me. So it's more like, you keep giving more chances. You're like, oh, okay, maybe not this time, maybe another time. And then there's another time happening. And then again, there are a lot of disagreements. There are a lot of things where the values are not aligned. There
That's
are
a
a lot of
key.
moments. Yeah, there are a lot of moments where the choices are a mismatch. There are moments where there are very, very strong opinions about certain things which are coming in between us. So, as much as there was love, as much as there was bonding, as much as there was, this coziness, this warmth, which was building on one side,
Mhm.
but there was also this other important factor where there was misalignment, there was disagreement, there was very, very strong differences in opinions while I was going through my pregnancy, even during that time. There were a lot of, like I said, arguments, disagreements. There was a lot of involvement of parents between our relationship. As much as I did not want that, it had to happen because there was this kind of respect, that sense of respect that you need to have for your
To the
elders, which was
elders.
missing.
Mm,
And it was one sided, so you respect my family, but I don't respect your family. And I was like, wait a minute, how does that dynamic even
mm,
work?
mm,
So trying to bridge that gap and trying to understand why this is happening, and trying to every now and then voice my thoughts that this is not how I would like it. Why are we both not working together as a team? I didn't even realize how it led to that stage. And by the time my child was born,
mm,
and so it's like 3 years after my marriage, my son was born. He was 4 months old when I decided that I'm going to walk out of this marriage,
mm.
because my partner thought that it was okay to be physically abusive with me. And once that happened, and by the way, that was like the first time it ever happened. So up until now, we were just having disagreements. We were just having differences in opinions. We were just not able to take the right decision mutually, come to a consensus. But that particular one odd day, my partner felt that he could hit me. That's when I put my foot down and I thought that, is this really what I would want to have for the rest of my life?
Mm.
And I'll tell you why that question came in my head, because there was zero regret for the action from his side. Instead, it was said that it is so okay to do this in families, between partners, between husband and wife. Instead, it was said that it was my parents' responsibility, that they should have, while I was growing, maybe beaten me so that I would have been better and,
Obedient.
obedient and, like not argue and be a good wife,
Yeah.
kind
It's
of
pretty
thing.
much how dare you be you? How
Yes,
dare you
yes,
be the strong person? How dare you have an
yes.
opinion because you're not supposed to?
Yes, yes, absolutely. This is that stage where I was, that do I want to walk out? Do I want to stay? And I already have a 4-month-old baby in my arms. So that was that big struggle moment. So your question is, what was my struggle? That was like the biggest turning point, biggest challenge of my life, where I had to make a huge decision, and things would just totally change. From there on, my life would be totally different, which means I could either continue being a good wife and continue with those arguments and disagreements,
And the abuse.
and and the abuse, yeah, and the fake apologies, because he did apologize, not that he didn't, but that wasn't really something which came from the heart, because the next moment he was saying, okay, I'm sorry, but I think you should have hit her when she was a kid. And I'm like, what was that? So why did you even apologize?
People who are listening to the story, I'd like people to understand that this right there is a narcissistic behavior. Right there.
Yeah,
Because a
yeah,
lot of people are like, well, what is a narcissistic behavior? How do you understand it? What you just explained right here
yeah,
is one of them. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
I just had to raise the awareness. Continue.
No, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. And so, so that was that stage of my life. Again, my society, my culture says that once you have a kid, things will get better. Once you have a child, your relationship will get stronger. Once you have a third person coming in, your bond will be much more closer, because your child will bring you together. And I was like, okay, here we are. And what are we even doing? So my son now is 15 years old. So this is literally like 15 years back, that all this that I went through. And even today, I know that when I talk about this, when I see something like this happening across, and I see it on the internet, or I read about it, it triggers,
Mm,
it triggers a lot. Why is it that the woman has to struggle so much? Why is it that she needs to go through all of this all by herself?
mm,
And is there really a way out, which would help her to heal? Because I think there isn't. because this is like a lifelong thing which now you carry with you till you are going to be alive. So, as much as I feel it's 15 years, it doesn't matter anymore, I'm healed, but I know somewhere in the corner of the heart, there is a wound. Why, when women are supposed to be treated like goddesses, women are creators, why is it that women are treated like that, and why is there no respect? What is it that men are being taught as kids, that they don't understand this,
Thank
that we
you.
are all
You
equal?
hit the nail right on its head. It's the education. What are men to this day being taught?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And all these thoughts, all these questions were in my mind at that very moment when I was struggling. And I was at that stage that what am I supposed to do next? Because his family was like, oh, okay, we'll figure it out. He's apologized. But this is normal, I mean, people hit their wives. This is a normal thing to happen. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Now I know where it's going. And then I have on the other side, I have my own parents who are like, whatever you decide, we are with you.
Mm.
And that's a blessing. Trust me. That was
Yeah.
a blessing to have,
Mm,
that, they said that you are absolutely free to take a call and take a decision because it's your life. And
mm,
we will be okay with whatever you decide. And I think to an extent, I think they knew what I'm going to decide. And therefore, they were there to tell me that we are here for you, just so that if there's 1% doubt that I have, that if I take this decision, how is my life going to be thereafter? They just wanted to make me feel at ease, that don't worry, things will still be fine.
mm,
We are here to take care of you. All you need to do is decide what you want to do.
mm,
Another good blessing was that I was still working. I was still in corporate. I had a very beautiful job. I had an amazing work relationship back then with my bosses, with my colleagues. They were so cooperative. They were so understanding. And, it didn't affect like my job. I was able to join back. So I think that was another blessing, that financially it didn't really affect me because I was still working. I
yeah.
was still financially independent. All these things helped me, in fact, to make that decision. It made it really, really easier for me, to finally take the decision of what I wanted to do. And that's exactly how I was able to, walk out of my marriage.
I'm touched by your story, Kusha. I am. And as you're talking, of course, it's triggering me.
Yes, yes. See,
But it's
yeah,
triggering
I'm
me
sure.
also in a positive way, not in
Hmm.
a negative way. That's why probably you and I connected so much because
Yes.
we are two strong, resilient women. And I'm
Hmm.
saying this proudly and confidently. We both walked out of marriages we knew that are headed down a path that would destroy us.
Yes.
You caught on early, but you took the decision later, perhaps because of the cultural influences that you tried to make it work and you stayed longer and all of that. But you had a great support system and you had that community, like you had your work, you had an income. So financial
Mm.
independence was there. There are
Yes.
women out
Yes.
there who don't have that financial independence. And in my story, I didn't have financial independence when I was leaving my toxic relationship, but I did have my family support.
Hmm.
100%, and I had my friends support. These are great factors. But Kusha, there are women out there that you've mentioned not too long ago, and I know that weren't so lucky, where
Yeah.
they're being whatever abused in a toxic relationship. It doesn't matter the extent. The point is that
Yes.
they're not happy and they want to leave. Doesn't matter
Yes.
why. Their parents aren't supportive and they're forcing them to stay.
Yes.
And then you have the other side as well. And then you have society blaming, shaming, right? And
Hmm.
pushing you to stay and trying to make you believe that you are wrong to even want to be independent or to even
Mm.
want differently, to even question your sanity and to make you think that it's you who's something is
Mm.
wrong with you. You're the one that have to fix yourself. instead of
Yes.
the other party, or instead of just acknowledging that this marriage isn't working. This
Yes.
bond isn't happening. So why do we
Mm.
have to continue to force it? And why do we need to raise children in that environment where the children are being raised with that example, traumatizing them so that when they grow up, they end up continuing on the same pattern and so on. And that's why we have generational traumas. This is
Yeah,
exactly why we have generational traumas.
absolutely. And that is exactly my only single most reason for walking out, because I think I could have fought with him for the rest of my life. I think I could have continued with the abuse also for the rest of my life. I think I could have suppressed my emotions in the name of love, in the name of working out my relationship, in the name of looking at the brighter side. But the one thing which made me decide, which was literally, Rania, my biggest decision factor, is my son, because I did not want to raise him with the same values. And so I decided that this is not the right environment for my child to grow in. I think when I was a child, I always dreamed of becoming a mom. And I used to keep telling this to my mother also. Can we not have another baby? I need a baby. I used to say that to her, because although I was the second one, right? So I had an elder brother, but I used to keep telling her, can we not have a baby? I had that innermost desire to even have a child, which the universe blessed me with, thanks to my partner, right? But I think that's where his role ended.
Mm.
That's all he came for in my life. And so, as much as whatever might have happened, whatever I went through, this one thing, it just evens it out. And this one thing makes me feel that this child does not deserve to go through all this. Of course, even I don't deserve it. But let's
No,
say there are so many women out there who are, like you said, struggling. They're helpless. They don't know what to do. They can't make that decision. I made that decision just because I wanted to do it for my own kid. And by the way, the entire society tells you stick together for the kid. They say the complete opposite.
that's
They
it.
say you have to make it work for your child. And I'm like, not at any cost. If you know this isn't working out, you leave at the first hint of it, because your child is also going to go through that same trauma.
Mhm, mhm.
And I didn't want that. And as much as society said, oh, he needs a father, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'd rather give him grandparents. I'd rather give him uncle and aunts. And I'd rather raise him in a family which is loving, nurturing, and not a family where he can see that physical abuse is normal. It's normal because for them it was normal. For me, sorry. So that was my biggest of all decision maker. And like I said, I'm blessed to have that financial support. I'm blessed that I had an emotional support. I know so many women still do not have it. It's a struggle, it's a fight.
Mm.
But hold on, make sure you can become financially independent. And let's say if you can't do that, let's say you really have a mean partner, who doesn't even allow you
Mhm,
to, make money, who doesn't
mhm.
even allow you to go out. I
Because
don't
in
know,
many
like
cases, that's what it is. They don't allow
exactly.
them to have their
Yes,
own income, so they
exactly.
don't have that power, so that they will
Yes,
continuously be under their feet, needing them,
absolutely.
depending on them, and
Yes,
can't go anywhere because that's how
yes,
they thrive, these toxic people. Because that's the
yes,
sickness in
yes,
them, right? It's all about, like, let's break it down again. Like, it's
yes, yes.
sickness in these people that they need to feel so powerful because they are insecure
Yes,
about themselves, so they gotta use
sure.
other people, and in these cases, their wives.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That is the truth, and that's exactly what I feel about, my partner back then. I was giving a lot of free will, a lot of liberty. I was allowing him to do things his way. I was not putting my foot down earlier. Otherwise, we wouldn't have reached that stage, maybe. But these are all maybes, like whatever had to happen has happened. So I know that, there are women who are still going through this every single day of their life. I just want them to realize to keep that little hope and to build themselves strong. Make yourself strong internally. Don't let them walk over you like a doormat. Don't don't allow them to raise their voice on you. Don't allow them to get physically abusive with you. Take action, shout out, ask for help, reach out for help. I didn't do such things. I just sat there. Whereas now life is different, Now people are so much more aware about all these things happening around them. People come to help, but you have to ask for help. It's not going to happen if you just sit there hiding yourself. You have to come out and ask for help. You have to raise your voice. You have to show them that even if I'm living with you, even if you don't want me to go outside, but you can't mess around with me, you can't be abusive with me all the time. I will also take action. I think that's one of the things which they need to do if they can't walk out of, the marriage.
Learning
My
to cope.
first,
What you're
yeah,
saying
yeah,
is learning
just
to cope.
yes, and cope in a strong way. Don't be weak in front of them. Stop being weak because, by the way, we are not built to be weak. It's the society who has made us weak. Come on, we give birth to babies, right? There is a reason we have that strength in us to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So we have to remember this that we are already strong and we shouldn't allow society, victimhood, and an abusive narcissistic behavior to let us feel that we are weak and we are not worthy enough, and we can't do anything, or we are helpless. No, we're not helpless. You've got a voice, raise it.
A brief stop at a station. Those of you who ended a toxic relationship, share with someone who will benefit from your experience. We are here to support each other. What happened after you stood up to yourself, called them out, or maybe broke up and left them? Did they act surprised like they never abused you? Hoovered, tried to get you back? Fake apologies? Fake promises to change and be better if you just give them one more chance? Or did they cut you out like you never existed? Try to ruin your image and reputation? Made up lies to anyone who would listen in your circle? Or maybe found the next victim to replace you in a jiffy? Share your story. What did you do? How did you feel? How did you get yourself out? What gave you the courage to stand up to yourself and take action to save yourself? What were your main struggles? What was the most difficult thing you had to overcome after you left them? Send a voice note recording up to 5 minutes answering these questions, which will be in the description in the notes. Telling your story with the intention to help others in their journey of reclaiming back their power and healing. Send to guest@healingtrain.ca. Stay tuned for this special episode. Be ready to listen to inspiring and life-altering stories, real, raw, and remarkable. You don't want to miss this journey on the Healing Train. This show is proudly sponsored by Say It Out Loud GG, led by the inspiring Judith Diaz, an avid change maker and passionate advocate for speaking up and raising awareness. The Healing Train podcast is honored to have her support. Now let's get back to the show.
Nowadays I see, couples, they don't allow them to even hit you. They're going to make sure that they defend themselves. They're going to make sure that they shout out loud so that there are other people around the neighborhood, they get to know and they come and give you help. If you do that on a daily basis, your partner will be aware that she's not weak. And I know it's easier said than done. I know this. If I had to continue, I think I would have definitely done this.
Well, a key thing here, Kusha, in this whole discussion is culture.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't choose the culture that we are born in. We just are born in that culture. We find ourselves here. And there's also a greater influence within the culture itself is the actual family you grew up in. So
Mm,
both you and your ex-partner were from the same culture, but
mm,
yet grew up totally different. You grew up with a mom and a dad that instilled in you certain principles, raised you in a certain way, and it was pretty much the exact opposite on the other end, right? They were controlling of the person. They taught them that, hey, you're the man, so you have the last say. So it's okay. Normalized abuse, normalized
mm.
toxic, normalized whatever, right? That's how. So it started from the home, right?
Yes,
The home and
yes,
the culture. So it was like a double whammy.
yes.
you
Oh my God.
you got a double whammy there. So
I know.
and there's a I can't find the right word to say now, but there's a disconnect. Let's say
Yes.
there's a
Yeah.
disconnect because in one culture you will have different households with parents raising their children in different ways, where this family is normalizing abuse and toxic and patriarchy and all of that,
Mm,
and man is over woman. And then you'll have a household where they raise their daughter to be strong and to fight for
yes.
herself and not to accept this. And then you combine them together, and kaboom, you got explosions, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, there are other families who's raised their daughters to be submissive and obedient,
Mm,
and that would be the type of girl that would match this type of,
correct.
right? And
Yes.
it happens to this day, right now.
Yes.
I've seen it in the movies,
Yes.
so I know it happens.
Yes.
I've watched it. I've watched all the scenarios of the movies where this is what happens, and yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it again, it goes back to culture, education.
Mm,
If we start from there, if we raise the awareness right now, and again, we're
mm,
not bashing cultures here,
yes.
yours or mine or anybody else. We all, every culture has its good and its bad, right? My
Mm,
culture is no angel either. So,
yes.
it all starts from there, right?
Yes. Yes.
Education. What are we educating? What are the principles that we are teaching
Mm,
children?
yes.
What are we normalizing? Let's
Yes.
question, what are we
Mm,
normalizing? And then as we move forward with improving and bettering our education system, the culture will naturally be better, right? And improve in its way of operating, in its way of thinking, in what is being normalized.
mm,
And slowly, slowly, as the older generations pass, because it's natural, it is a fact of life,
yeah.
right? The older generation will
Yes.
pass. And then you
Yes.
now have the newer generation, right? Just the
Correct.
same way with technology. Right
Yes.
now, you see the technology era that we are in. There are kids
Right.
right now that don't even know what a Walkman is,
Yes. Absolutely.
right? And I have two of them. So that's how old I am, right? There are people who don't know what a VCR is.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Right. So the same way, and I know it's not a very good comparison here, but I guess I'm trying to make a point that
Yes.
with time,
Yeah.
that old way of being, those old beliefs, those old patterns, what we used to do no longer accepted, is something of the past. And then we move on to a new era where it's now we're more civilized, we're more conscious, we're more equality is more of a thing, inclusion is more of a thing. And these are not just big words we are talking about here. These are the way we live.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
the way we interact. It's the way we communicate and so forth.
Mm,
And it all starts from education,
yes.
understanding that culture has a big role to play in
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the toxicity
Yes.
in today's world, in relationships failures, the amount of divorce that is happening now
Mm. Oh,
versus
yes.
then, and we go back
Mm.
way back then, right? The explanation for that is, well, back then our grandparents didn't have a choice to divorce, they just made it work.
Mm.
Granted,
Mm.
perhaps, yes, perhaps there is that mentality where
Yes.
we give up too easily and we end our
Mm.
relationships and marriages too soon without seeing the value in what we have. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
100% an advocate to try to make it work first. Don't give
Yes.
up right away.
Yes.
I'm not like saying,
Correct.
oh, your relationship is not working. Okay, leave. That's not what I'm saying. That's
Mm.
never been what I'm saying. What I'm
Right.
saying is that you got to see the situation for what it is. Is it even worth putting the energy and the effort, especially when you're dealing with someone who's physically abused you and isn't even regretful. There's
Yes.
no hope there.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry to tell you that,
Absolutely.
right? Someone who's
Yes.
trying to
Yes.
control you, someone, whatever, right? And then there's hope with some where you can go to therapy, counseling, maybe for many years. A change happens gradually. It doesn't happen
Mm.
overnight.
Yes.
And it happens because the person sees that there is something in their behavior that isn't appropriate. And that's why they want to change for themselves first and then for the success of the relationship, right? And
Mm.
then there are those who just don't see it.
Yeah.
They just don't see it. And that's a
Mm.
hopeless case. And that's when you got to go,
Yes. Yes.
right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, backtracking again to what I was saying is that we have options of whether we want to make our relationships work or not work, and we get to decide that ourselves. But we have the sovereignty to choose.
Mm. Of
we,
course.
we we need to be able to choose and not made feel guilty for
Mm.
choosing that. I have the
Mm.
right to choose for myself the life I want to live,
Yes.
right? And culture should never be in the way of someone's happiness, of someone's
Mm.
peace, of someone's safety, because that's what's happening
Mm.
right now.
Yes.
Culture is now the excuse we use for a
Mm.
woman to stay in an abusive marriage because that's what the culture expects of it. Because
Yes.
that's what we do. That's
Mm.
the normal.
Yes.
Also, because it's bad and you made it normal, yeah, continue then.
Mm.
No, no.
Yeah.
You gotta stand up exactly like you said, have your
Yeah.
voice or learn to cope
Mm.
or
Mm.
find a way to go to therapy and work on
Mm.
it. Worst case scenario, if your life is in danger, escape.
Yes.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
this is
Yeah.
all you gotta do, escape.
True that. Yes.
Find
That's so
a
true.
community for go to shelters, women
Mm.
shelters if you have to
Yes.
in your area,
Mm.
right? There's always a solution. And I love what you said earlier is that you don't need to feel helpless or that it's a hopeless case.
Mm.
You have to decide for yourself. If your parents aren't supporting you, if your culture is against you, if you are being shamed, and if you're, you're the victim, but yet you're being told that something is wrong with you instead, and you have
Mm.
no support whatsoever, no income, don't know what to do what you got to do. All
Mm.
I got to say.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
And yes, it's not going to be an easy road. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I promise you that. But do you want to continue in this to the point that you lose yourself? And God knows, it's not just about losing yourself emotionally and mentally. You can end up with a scar. You could lose an arm. You could
Yes.
lose an egg because
Yes.
the person that's abusing you doesn't know what they're doing the moment they're
Yes.
becoming violent. And people need to understand what violence really means. It's not just a quick
Yeah.
hit and okay, I'll just get a scar and a wound and it will heal, right? There's after effect, there's long-term effect,
Yes.
there's short-term effect,
Yes.
there's the children involved, the trauma that's happening. These are all factors to consider,
Yes. Absolutely.
right? So I'm
Yeah.
sorry I went off there, but as you can tell, this is a very, I should say, this is a subject that hits home for me
Yes.
in so many
Yeah.
ways. And one of the reasons why I do this show, one of the
Mm.
reasons why I have conversations like these with someone like yourself who has been through it and rise above it. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that I'll meet women who are going through it and still are going through it
Yes.
and haven't left yet or
Mm.
trying to find a way to cope in the dynamic. And I do my best to help. I do my best to help and guide and direct to the right
Mm.
places of where to go for help, right? We don't
Yes.
have the
Yes.
solutions to everything, but at least we can
Yes.
try.
Yes.
Us having this
Yes.
conversation here right now is raising awareness.
Yes.
Someone
Yes.
out there might
Absolutely.
listen to this episode and get the courage and maybe
Yes.
understand their situation a little better and understand, even if it's just by the two of us talking here, sharing our
Yeah.
personal experiences and being vulnerable,
Mm.
doing it for a reason, not because we want to air our dirty laundry.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not what it's about here. This is
Absolutely.
about, will someone change their life knowing that what they're dealing with is unacceptable
Mm.
and that they deserve better
Better, yeah.
and that they can fight back
Mm.
or escape.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true.
I'm sorry, you wanted to say something and I was going on. Did you still remember what it is you wanted to say?
Well, I do. I don't know if it's related here as well, because I know you mentioned something about how, the old ones pass by, and then, there'll be new values and new beliefs which will be created. However, if there's no one to embed new values, then the new generation is also still continuing with the same old things, which were brought to them, from their ancestors or from their, grandparents, and so on and so forth. There are kids who become rebellious in those situations because they are seeing the new world, they are seeing the new culture, and then when they go back home, they see that it's still a very different old culture, and that doesn't match with how they would want to live their life. And this applies in almost all aspects, be it relationships, taking any kind of big decisions for your life. If there is an old culture which is controlling the new generations which will come, there will be somebody who will break that generational cycle. So if you can move out of your relationship at the right time without causing more wounds for the child, because that's what the child is watching while he or she is growing up. So even today, when I see a lot of couples who are struggling, I want them to understand this, that do it for your child, because you will still survive whichever way, but your kids will not be able to survive because they're not getting the love that they need to grow in their growing years.
No,
This should
absolutely.
help so many women out there to change their perspective in terms of, should I continue because I have two children, and who's going to look after them, and how am I going to manage, and how will society accept them without a father, and so many questions come up. And I went through that once I walked out of it. So life wasn't a bed of roses after walking out, because that's when the real struggle started, right? Because now I was on my own. I mean, okay, great, I have parents, and great, I came back home to them, and great, I have a like a security for myself, a safety for my child. But there are still people talking about it, there are still people judging me, there are still people wanting me to immediately get remarried, and I'm
So you
still
can
in that
follow the
emotion.
expectations of the
Yeah,
culture
yes,
once again.
yes,
Because
yes,
a woman
exactly.
is supposed to follow what the culture has set for her. Before she
Yeah,
was even born, it was decided for you
yeah,
what you're supposed to do and the life you're supposed to
yes,
lead. But you were
absolutely.
very, very blessed to have parents like yours who
Yeah,
raised you the way they did. And the result is right here sitting in front of us.
yeah,
You are
yeah.
a result not only of yourself and your resiliency and your strength, that's definitely the case. I give that whole power to you. But it's also a huge factor what was instilled in you, how you were
Mm,
raised, how you were supported. The
yes.
environment that you grew up in is a
Mm,
huge factor to who you are today.
yes, yes, and that's the same environment I would want for my child. So why not?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. But while we're on that topic, I'd like for us to switch, the negativity of what we're talking about, because I know what we're talking about is very heavy
yes,
stuff, and a lot of
yes.
negative stuff is being said. Let's talk about some positive. Let's talk about your wins. Okay, let's talk about you going through that journey of being a single mother, leaving a relationship, leaving the scenario that we already discussed, and making your path and finding your mission and doing the work that you now do. And I want you to lead into talking to us about what you actually do right now. I know you said you've worked in the corporate world and you had different kinds of career path, but you're doing something different now. So talk to
Yes,
us about that. The
yes,
floor is
yes. And
yours.
I'm like double smiles now, because now we're talking about good stuff.
Yeah, now we're talking about my stuff. All right.
Since I was a trainer, I used to do a lot of workshops in my corporate job. So I thought that is the best thing that I know how to do, right? I know how to train people. I know I can talk about management skills. I can talk about various topics which can help with leadership, with team building, and all sorts of topics related to the growth and success of employees. So I said I might as well start freelancing, and that was like a different career, a different route, a different journey. While I was still working, I was going through my own emotional struggles. So I did move out of marriage. Like I said, my child was taken care of. But what about me? What about my own emotions? What about, was I ready to, get back into a relationship? Was I even ready to start dating again, for that matter? Because now my parents were like, okay, but you should get settled again. You should find a partner. Your son might, as he's growing, he will need a father. Are you thinking about it? So I was going through all of that, like, do I even want to start all of all this all over again? And where am I heading? So I had a lot of questions, in my brain, like, where am I heading? What am I supposed to be doing? Do I focus on work? Do I focus on career? Do I get into another relationship? So in the midst of all this, I found life coaching, and that was fascinating. So I went through my own life coach certification first. So, which means all those questions which were troubling me, I was able to find answers. And gradually, it didn't happen overnight, of course, but then coaching helped me realize, that what is it that I wanted to do? Am I even ready for it? And for so many things, I was still not ready. So I had to just let them be. I had to let time pass. Said my son started school, I left my job, and my journey as as an entrepreneur or a freelancer, that was also a struggle. Like,
Mhm.
maybe you would need another podcast episode for that. So, just
Building a
to
business from
summarize.
scratch. You're all on
Yeah,
your
yeah,
own.
literally.
One woman
Yes,
show. You gotta
yes,
make sure you bring in a certain amount of income to survive.
yes,
You have
yes,
a child to take care of. There's a responsibility. It's a
yes,
responsibility.
yes. And in fact, when I wanted to take that decision, I spoke about it back home. I said, look, this is what I'm planning to do. So obviously, they were not very supportive, because according to them, my one big financial security was going off. And then I said that if I don't do it now, maybe when you get really old, when things are not in my control, when I will have to forcibly stay at home and look after my son, and at that point in time, if I decide that I have to do something on my own, it'll be so much more difficult. So I still have that age, I still have things on my side, I still have the energy. Let me take that risk.
So you
It's a
were
risk for
practical.
sure.
You were
Yeah.
practical in your way of thinking. It's not that you were just like, okay, let me just do this. You
Yes,
thought
yes,
about it, you planned it.
yes,
And
yes,
and the
literally.
and the way you were thinking, you were thinking like I support you 100% with what you did. I feel the same way. You were getting opposing opinions, and that's okay. That's totally okay. Not everyone is meant to agree with you, no matter what.
Yes, yes.
Where is that coming from? Their belief about that,
Mm.
right? So again, we need to understand that the older generation, or even now, we don't even have to
Mm.
go as far as old generation, there is a belief that comes from, again, cultural and societal conditioning
Mm.
that stability comes from going and doing a job, working for
Job.
someone else, which
Yes,
is the slavery mentality that we are
yes.
being forced to be in. But again, that is another
Mm.
topic for another day,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
To work for someone else so you
Yes,
can get a paycheck, so you can pay the
correct,
bills, and that's your security. We're taught
correct.
that from when we're babies. It's
Absolutely. Yeah,
instilled in us.
yeah,
When
yeah.
you're a baby, what and you with your mommy, and where's daddy? Daddy's at work
Does it
bringing us
work?
money
Yeah.
so we can, pay for the bills and get you the toys and put the food on the
Yes,
table, right?
yes,
Nowhere in there is it ever
yes,
being told that it's okay to pursue your dreams and work hard
yes.
and maybe find a way to start your own venture, whatever that venture is.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Nowhere is it
yeah.
ever supported or encouraged. It's always like, business is not for
Mm.
us. It's for other
Yeah.
people, but not for us.
Yes, yes,
Or
yes.
you don't have money to start a business. You need money to start a business. Otherwise, you're just going to
Correct.
fail, right? And you get one negative comment after the next
Oh,
from
yes.
everybody and anybody. Close people, people who don't know you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
experienced that. So did
Oh,
I. So
yes.
did many people. So it's not only that you experience walking out of a marriage, having a child to take care of and support, but on top of that, you were looking to be that mother that you wanted to
Mm,
be. And with that came changes in your career path, which
yes.
included you going down a path of being self employed and being an
Yes.
entrepreneur and building something in the toughest time of your life,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
You took that decision, and here you are. Please talk to us about it.
So it was like 10 years back because my son was 5 years by then and he started school and I left my job. I went through as a freelance doing workshops for different corporates. So that gave me that flexibility. I didn't have to go every day to work really. So I could be home. I could take projects, I could take assignments. I could sit at home and create, presentations and work via emails. And then on the training day, just actually show up. So that was that kind of flexibility which I was able to get for myself. However, I started it in partnership with one of my ex bosses. So there's that new angle to it. That's exactly how I moved out because he was already starting his own training consultancy. So he said, "Why don't you join me?" And I was kind of ready to make that decision, really. So we did work together for about a year and a half. But then again, the dynamics felt like a boss and a subordinate. So it didn't feel like we were partners. And I think the universe tells you really, it gives you that sign when things are not working for you. I mean, at least in my case. So I
Well,
said,
I'm
okay,
seeing
wait
it
a minute.
clearly. Everything you're telling
Yeah.
me so far, I'm like seeing the synchronicity of the events. Like you
Yes.
get married to someone, you have the baby that you've always wanted. Now you're a mom. Now, okay, let's put that one to the side. We don't need that one anymore. Sperm donor, bye bye. Sorry, I mean I don't mean to say it that way. Hopefully you don't take any
I
offense
say
to what I
that,
just
by the
said.
way. I always say that
You
he's a
say it? Okay,
donor.
so good, because I don't want to
Yeah.
offend you. So yeah, okay, sperm donor, bye bye. Now I'm a mom, I'm all good to go. And okay, I'm finding my career path. Oh, but it so happened to be that connection that we can work together. It gives you the start, and you're like,
Yes.
I don't know if I like this. Okay, so I'm gonna now make another change. Okay,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah. So
interested.
then,
I'm like sitting here listening to the story, like, wow, what more are you
oh
gonna
my
surprise me
God.
with?
Yeah, so then I continued with the freelance trainings on my own. So it just that we stopped the partnership and now I was doing it independently and I'm sure he continued on his own. And then I remembered, wait a minute, where, I did that life coaching. So why am I not using that? So I started, combining that and bringing that into my work. And I realized people don't even understand here what is coaching because they like
Yeah,
And I was
okay.
like, oh my God, like, how do I make clients? Because how do I even make them understand the value of coaching? Because they're thinking this is therapy. They're thinking only if you are mentally not fit would you go for coaching. And then they're thinking coaching means free advice. Why do I even pay for it? So there was all kind of backlashes happening in terms of me starting a coaching business. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. So now we're back to something which is even more messy. And then I realized I'm not going to work for a single Indian client because I'm not getting that kind of audience, right? They're not supportive, they don't have value for it. And so I decided I'm going to have clients globally. And that's when online businesses were still, coming up and kind of booming and people were starting their businesses online. And I was like, okay, this seems interesting. And people are selling online, connecting across the globe, just like you and me are
There
right
you
now.
go.
I started my coaching business and I said, okay, I'm going to work this one out. Again, it didn't work because I was losing confidence by this time. Like having a financial secure job versus doing things all by myself, not having too much support from family, but still, keeping at it because my son was also flourishing. He was growing like this sunshine boy because he had me every single moment, at school, wherever what it was needed. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt that even if, my career path doesn't look very clear right now. It looks hazy. Personally, I think things are going good. My son is growing. He's getting the kind of presence which he needs from at least one parent because he only has one parent. And then I pivoted into something which I always loved, but I never knew that I could monetize it. So as a trainer, I loved designing. As a trainer, I used to sit all night, create presentations, design courses, training materials. And I was like, wait a minute, I do have some more skills inside of me. So even if coaching is not happening right now, what else can I do to monetize and make something out of it? And that's when my business, the Bespoke Designs, was born. There has been no looking back since then.
Mm, I love this success story. I'm really like,
Thank
as you can
you.
see, like I got my hand here on my, I'm like, lullaby. Tell me
Oh
more.
my God.
No, it sounds, I know it sounds like a story to many people, but to you it was real life. You lived it every single day. You've been through the downs and you've been through the ups and you've been through the doubts where it's like, am I doing the right thing? Was I wrong? Should I have listened to them when they said I should have stayed in
Yes.
that corporate job for the financial stability that
Mm.
I'm providing? Am I hurting my son? Or am I doing right by him? Am I being stubborn? You start to question yourself.
Oh,
All
yes. I was
those
called
thoughts
stubborn.
come to
Yeah.
mind, right? You do question yourself because you have these
Yes.
moments. From getting to know you more and more as we speak, you have that perseverance,
Yeah.
and some people have it and some people don't,
Don't. Yes.
right? It seems that from the get-go, you were meant to do great things. You were put in a family. I mean, like, let's say God put you in a family where you were raised in a certain way. You did not tolerate abuse, walked out at a very, very early stage of a marriage,
Yes.
decided that you deserve better, that you wanted to do something different for your son. You envisioned a different life.
Yes.
You took matters into your own hands and you took tough decisions. You stood up to people. You had backlash from here and there. You had a culture against you,
Oh,
right? A
yes.
belief system that doesn't work for you, that makes no sense, right? You rebelled in some way, right? And so did I. We were two rebels meeting each other online from two different cultures and from two different places where we live, like from one side to the other of the planet, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. We connect because we are people who made a decision
Yes.
that, okay, we're gonna have a tough road. Let it be.
Mm.
I'd rather that tough road. I'm
Yes.
going after it. There is no other choice for me. I'm going after
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
it, right? And I
Yeah.
think there's a saying that says we you take the bull by its horn. I think if that's the right analogy here to use. And we're like, yeah, I'm doing this thing. I don't care what stands in my way. I'll conquer it. Oh, there's a mountain? Okay, I'll climb it. Oh, I
Uh,
don't have tools? Don't worry, I'll make tools.
yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's the resilience, that's the perseverance, the determination. And a lot of women are in that boat, right?
Yes.
So,
True.
what I would say to this woman is dig deep and find that strength that is inside of you.
Mm.
Nothing can stop you.
Yep.
Nothing. The only thing that stops you is yourself, you believing that
Yes.
you can't do it, you believing that it's
Yes.
hard,
Yes.
you believing that
Mm.
someone else is telling you that you can't do it, or that you're not
Mm.
qualified, or that you don't have the right licensing, or that you don't have
Yeah.
the right money to start off whatever it is. BS. And I'm being very nice
Yeah.
right now. BS. You can do anything you put your mind
Mm.
to. With hard work, you can
Absolutely.
make it happen. And listen to
Yep.
the signs.
Mm.
Listen, I mean, I should say watch the signs, but in a way also you're listening.
Yes.
Listening to your intuition, right? You're following
Mm.
that intuition, that feeling that tells you something is right, something is not right. You've had that several times in your
Yes.
story.
Oh, yes.
And you follow
Absolutely.
that voice, right? And then there is the opportunities that come your way. We always have a split second where one decision we make from opportunities that
Mm.
come our way where
Yes.
either we'll go this way or that way. And for the
Yeah.
people who are listening and not watching me using my hands, it's either like left or right. Okay. It's
Right.
just making sure that people understand also when they're listening. Yeah. We're always one decision away, one moment,
Mm.
one split of a second, which way you're
Yeah.
gonna go. But I'm not saying this for
Absolutely.
you to feel pressure because it's not about putting pressure on ourselves. It's about going with the flow of life.
Mm.
And again, going back to listening to that voice, to your
Yes.
intuition and seeing the signs. What is it showing you,
Mm.
right? And it's
True.
great to think things through like you did, being practical, making a
Yeah.
decision from a place where you weigh things, following your passion, uncovering what that passion is too sometimes. It took you a
Yeah.
while to figure out
Of
where that
course.
thing is. That doesn't
Yes.
mean that all those other things you wouldn't have been good at. Perhaps if you were in a different country, life coaching would have worked for you.
It's about the right audience. It's about the place where the demand is.
Hmm.
And if you go and market to the right place,
Hmm.
it will sell, It is
Hmm.
something which people need. So
Hmm.
if you are only not going and talking about it in the right place, then you feel that you don't know about it. But that's not true. You do know about it. It's just that where you're talking about it will matter. Are people giving value to it or not?
That's
That's
right.
exactly where it was, and that's exactly where I was stuck. And I realized that I'm not going to put my time energy on this place where they don't value my skills.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly and gradually my business has done for you service, and it has one-on-one coaching in it,
Hmm.
because I know people wanted. I know, and I'm a confidence coach, by the way, so that's what I talk about, right? So they can feel it because I'm so damn confident and
Hmm.
I've lived
You
my
are.
life like that. And I can tell them now that, look, this is from my experience. What makes you think that you will not be able to do it? Because if I can do it, so can you.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Let's go. Let's just, I feel like let's go on stage now and have a speech. Ready for it. Oh my God, Kusha, conversation with you is amazing. I can't believe how long we've been talking. I
Oh,
totally
yeah.
lost track of time because I'm so enjoying the conversation with you. And I'm sure there's even
Likewise.
more things that we could have covered, but it's, you know what? It's perfect. The way the conversation went, it just is
Yes.
perfect the way it was
Yeah.
between whatever you're
Yeah.
sharing and whatever I was called to share. I talk out of
Hmm.
passion, and I'm sure people who are listening
Yes.
to me can tell that I talk with passion.
No, I think I've totally enjoyed this because I feel I went into flashback one, and
Mm.
then I feel, like you brought me back into the present moment. And then, I could imagine myself just, looking back and thinking, wow, what a wonderful journey. So I
Mm.
think you made me relive that moment through this conversation. So I think I want to thank you literally, that
Mm.
even if none of us realized where time went by, I think it was already like, a journey which I went through, and then now, I came back to the present moment. So yeah, it's been an amazing, conversation today. Yeah.
I'm very happy you enjoyed yourself on the healing train today.
Oh yeah, literally. Yeah. Now I know why it is called the healing train.
Yeah, because you just end up talking, and next thing you know,
Yeah.
yeah. Before I let you go, Kusha, I'd like to ask your input, advice, tip from someone who's been there, a mother who's lived the experience that you've shared with us today. What would you say to a woman out there right now, second guessing herself about the decision she wants to make, but is hesitant? There are influences around her that she doesn't know which way to go. What
Mm,
should she do? And she is a mother herself.
okay. So I know we started with a quotation, and I would actually want to end it with a quotation. And this is a quotation from my own book. So I'm a co author of a book which is called Rise in Pursuit of Empowerment. And it has my story, which we just now, shared on this podcast. And there is a quotation which you will find in there because that's the one which I've created. And I
Mhm.
feel I want to share that as we, close our conversation for today.
Mhm.
And this is for all those women out there who are feeling in that space where they don't know what they want to do or how they can do it.
Mhm.
So I want to say that where there is a will, there is a way. All you have to do is follow your instincts. That's all. That's all I have to say.
Mm. That is so powerful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you said that now because now I'm getting teary eyes and I'm trying to compose myself. So I'm glad this is the closing of our episode. Thank you because you touched me. You truly
You're
touched me
most
with your
welcome.
words and your story and your vulnerability and your confidence and your resilience. I'm
Thank you.
honored. I am truly honored.
Oh my God. Well, I'm so happy that, it's able to inspire you. And I pray that all the women out there who are, in that space where they are not able to make that decision, I pray they get that strength. I pray they get that kind of courage to, take that next step, which will be the best step according to them for their life. And I wish you healing. I wish them to heal. And I wish that women continue to be strong and women continue to believe that they have the strength and the courage inside of them. Nobody on the outside, matters or can, decide about who we are and what we can do. So yeah. And I'm just glad that, we really had this conversation. And I wish I was there to give you a hug, by
Oh.
the way.
Before you hop off the train, if something in today's ride stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Hit follow and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Want to dive deeper or have a topic you'd love us to explore? I'm all ears. Drop your questions, thoughts, or suggestions. We're in this healing journey together, and your voice matters here. Just drop a message to guest@healingtrain.ca. I am listening. And until next time, keep on healing you and keep riding with me on the healing train.